tuning in today to listen to A Fine Time for Healing. I am your talk radio show host, Randi Fine. Today, I'll be beginning a 6-episode series on Narcissistic Personality Disorder. NPD is a complex syndrome to understand, so there's no way I can cover everything I want to share with you in a half an hour. It's my goal to give you the most comprehensive understanding of this disorder as possible. I will not be taking calls for these shows because I have so much to cover. But on Wednesday, May 8th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will open up the entire show to callers. Today in episode 1, I'll be giving an overview of what narcissistic personality disorder is, and then I will discuss the traits and characteristics of someone who has it. Narcissism is a word that comes from an ancient Greek myth, the myth of Narcissus. Narcissus was a handsome Greek youth who rejected the desperate advances of the nymph Echo. In punishment of his cruelty, he was doomed to fall in love with his own reflection in a pool of water. Unable to consummate his autoerotic love, he pined away and changed into the flower that bears his name to this very day. Narcissistic personality disorder is not just a behavior of self-admiration, but a full-blown dysfunctional personality disorder in the same class of disorders as antisocial personality disorder, a pervasive disregard for the rights of others, lack of empathy, and generally a pattern of regular criminal activity. It's also in the same class of borderline personality disorder, which is extreme black and white thinking, instability in relationships, self-image, identity, and behavior, often leading to self-harm and impulsivity. And it is also in the same class as histrionic personality disorder, a pattern of excessive emotionality and attention-seeking, including an excessive need for approval and inappropriately seductive behavior. So let's first talk about what it means to have a personality disorder. Personality disorders are extreme manifestations of common behaviors that significantly impair a person's ability to behaviorally respond to life in an acceptable way. And they create difficulty in his or her interactions with others. It is a set of chronic, inflexible personality traits or a behavior of deviant or abnormal behavior that a person won't change, even when it troubles everyone around them and negatively impacts all his or her relationships. A personality disorder is not limited to episodic mental illness. It is not caused by illness or injury, and it is not an effect of substance abuse. Though these patterns may show earlier, they are not typically diagnosed in children under the age of 18, a time when a child's character and personality is still forming. There are about a dozen classified behavior patterns that fall under the heading of personality disorders. Narcissistic personality disorder, commonly known as NPD, and also known as pathological narcissism, is one of them. A person with NPD has an extremely inflated sense of self-importance and an intense preoccupation with himself. They are extremely sensitive to personal criticism while being very critical of other people. Though it is a highly complex behavioral syndrome They are fully oriented, have normal emotions and intelligence, and they outwardly function as most people do. The primary trait that separates them from others is that they have no empathy. And the primary drive in their life is their insatiable craving for admiration. At the extreme end of the NPD scope is a syndrome called malignant narcissism. I'll briefly mention and explain it in case you have been on the receiving end of that behavior and haven't been able to understand what is going on. Malignant narcissism is a psychopathic behavior that is characterized by traits such as perverted self-love, paranoia, and extreme aggression, whether provoked or unprovoked. Those who have malignant narcissism are mentally and emotionally cruel, contemptuous of others, and prone to committing violent acts. They are driven to win or succeed at all costs and by any means. Though you may have gotten the impression that all narcissism is bad, that's not actually true. Non-pathological, age-appropriate narcissism is a natural, healthy characteristic of human nature. It is an instinctive trait that we all possess to a degree. Infants possess all the self-focused characteristics of narcissism that would be considered unhealthy for adults, such as grandiosity, self-absorption, and omnipotence. They are highly narcissistic, but that is healthy, appropriate behavior for that level of development. As a child develops, separates from their parents, and goes through the stages of becoming an individual, their level of narcissism should diminish. The more emotionally stable one's childhood was, the more appropriate one's level of healthy self-love or narcissism will carry over from childhood to adulthood. Someone with a healthy adult narcissism has a sense of personal responsibility, a sense of humor, a sense of selflessness, empathy, and the capacity for developing and maintaining satisfying intimate relationships. Adults who fail to develop age-appropriate narcissism are said to have underdeveloped narcissism. Some adults have narcissistic personalities but do not have a personality disorder. These people may be seen as arrogant, self-focused, and overconfident, but they do not have the exaggerated or grandiose view of themselves as someone with NPD has. Many people can pick up narcissistic traits. What separates them from someone with NPD is how they deal with confrontation. Those who have narcissistic personalities without the disorder do not have the extreme defensive reactions someone with NPD has when they are called on it. Unlike someone with NPD, once these people become aware that their behavior is undesirable, they will likely change it, or at the very least, they will have a desire and ability to change it. They are capable of accepting and taking responsibility for the fact that their behavior is less than perfect. The exact cause of NPD has yet to be fully discovered. Psychodynamic theory suggests that it is rooted in childhood abuse or trauma during the formative years, having been inflicted by parents, authority figures, or peers. This theory maintains that it is an offensive approach to dealing with the victimization. Adolescents who suffer unrelenting bullying and mockery by their peers and important role models like parents or teachers may turn to fantasizing about their own power and importance to satisfy their unmet needs. The same may happen to adolescents who feel deprived, unappreciated, or hopeless about their future. Narcissistic defenses may be used as a form of protection and for emotional self-gratification. This is fertile ground for aggressive, violent behavior. In either case, the abused essentially becomes the abuser. Refusing to be hurt any longer, they go into attack mode and become the perpetrator. This is a defense mechanism used to deflect the pain away from the damaged true self. Children who are overindulged, pampered, or smothered by their parents, or children whose parents place unrealistic expectations on them are also prone to developing a false sense of entitlement or grandiosity that carries over into adulthood. There is also scientific evidence that supports a theory of a genetic and or physiological basis, but no one knows for sure exactly what causes narcissistic personality disorder to form. The American Psychiatric Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders defines NPD by the following 9 traits. To be diagnosed as NPD, a person must have at least 5 of these traits. Following is a list in no particular order. The first one is a grandiose sense of self-importance. They think of themselves as better than anyone else and expect to be seen as superior to everyone else. They are the star and hero of everything they do. They're obsessed with themselves. As far as they're concerned, nothing else exists or matters except their own experiences. Their problems, emotions, and needs are the center of the world. They are the celebrity in every situation. The second one is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, intelligence, brilliance, ideal love, unlimited success, or beauty. They live in their own little worlds and resent anyone intruding or trying to talk them out of their reality. The narcissist is boastful and pretentious. He arrogantly exaggerates his successes and talents and believes others should recognize his greatness. He must do this because it is his fantasies of grandiosity that help him stabilize his precariously balanced personality. The third one believes that he or she is unique and special. They believe they should only engage with other special, rich, or accomplished people. They're snobby about who they will associate with and are not ashamed to admit it. They see average people, everyone who in their eyes is not superior and special, as worthless, lowly, and subservient. Narcissists value image, status, and beauty above all else. They're attracted to wealthy people, beautiful people, and successful people who they believe can benefit them in some way or enhance their self-image by association. The fourth one requires an excessive amount of admiration and attention. They want others to tell them that they do everything better than others do. They expect and demand that the world reflect back their idealized image of perfection. They see the world as a mirror of themselves. Since their self-esteem is very fragile, they want to be praised, complimented, and envied by everyone, whether or not that admiration is sincerely given. All that's important is the frequency and volume in which the compliments are given. Some narcissists are so needy that they may constantly fish for compliments. The fifth one feels entitled. They have unreasonable expectations of receiving especially favorable treatment and privileges. They expect everyone to indulge them, cater to them, and give them whatever they want or need. They may feel entitled to take whatever they want. When the narcissist wants something done, he expects nothing less than immediate compliance. Anything less is perceived as an insult or disrespect. But the narcissist feels entitled to treat others any way he wants without a second thought and without feeling guilty. And number 6 is interpersonally exploitive. They selfishly take advantage of others to achieve or further their own needs without reciprocation, whether that person be their child, parent, sibling, coworker, or partner. They tend to form their relationships based on what the other person can do for them. Number 7, lacks empathy. They have difficulty understanding, recognizing, and sympathizing with the emotions, feelings, and needs of others. They are impatient with anyone who talks about their own problems and concerns. They will tune the other person out or dismiss them entirely. In terms of their own well-being, they assume that others are completely concerned about them, so they may drone on about themselves in lengthy, boring detail. Though they project an air of coldness, their lack of empathy and compassion isn't easily noticed because they are good imitators of what they see others do. Number 8, may be envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. They are envious of the successes or material things that others have, and they do not. They are resentful because they believe that they are more deserving of these things. When others share their successes, the narcissist will do everything in his or her power to dampen that person's spirit or devalue their accomplishments. They like to believe that others are envious of them. They may blame things that others do, things that feel hurtful to them, on the fact that the other person is just jealous. Everyone who does not serve their needs, please them, or praise them is believed to be motivated by envy. They enjoy believing that others envy them because that reinforces their belief that they are far superior. And the last one, 9, behaves arrogantly, haughtily, patronizingly, or rude to those they feel are beneath them. They have an overall negative outlook on life and are generally contemptuous of others. They do not treat other people very well unless they want something from them. All right, well, we're about halfway through the show, so I'm going to take a brief break. I will continue this discussion immediately following the 1-minute musical interlude featuring the band Love Shadow's song, There's a Better Way. Enjoy, stay tuned, and I'll be right back. Welcome back to today's discussion, Narcissistic Personality Disorder, and this is episode 1 of 6 episodes. People with NPD may either be obvious or secretive in the way they express their disorder. Their expression of it may be overt or covert. Those who express it overtly are more outward and open about it. They like attention and have an insatiable need to always be in the spotlight. Often these people are very successful, high achievers, or in the public eye. They will do whatever it takes to attain the limelight and captivate the attention of what they perceive as an awe-filled audience. They may intimidate others, make demands, or even use their charm to accomplish what they want. Overt narcissists show little interest or enthusiasm in what others have to say or share. They will deliberately show boredom or impatience, while doing their best to steer the focus back to themselves. When they succeed at redirecting the attention, their enthusiasm and animation will noticeably resume. If there is physical violence displayed in the home of a narcissist, it is usually the sign of overt narcissism at work. Covert narcissists gain the constant attention they seek using indirect or secondary methods. They're not obvious in their pursuit of this stardom. They may gain their admiration and feelings of importance through engaging in helping or nurturing roles, though they actually care very little for the other people or the cause. Covert narcissists like to play the role of martyr. They take on heroic responsibilities, claiming that they have to do everything themselves because everyone else is undependable, unqualified, or uncooperative. They claim that no one is helpful to them, that they sacrifice a great deal for others and get nothing in return. This is a tactic used to get sympathy and admiration. Their sacrifices are always grandly exaggerated or imagined and always self-serving. They do nothing sincerely or for the good of others. People with NPD are extremely sensitive to criticism and do not take blame very well. Anyone giving them negative feedback, even if it is something as innocent as the other person saying he or she would like to be treated better, will be subject to the outburst and viciousness commonly known as narcissistic rage. Just below the surface of every narcissist lie repressed aggression, paranoia, suspicion, and fear. He is quick to react erratically with rage or blame whenever his expectations are not met. Any form of criticism or disapproval will make him furious. He simply cannot tolerate the suggestion that he is less than perfect. This often causes problems in the workplace because narcissists refuse to compromise their needs for the good of everyone else, and they never think they're wrong. It can be very stressful working with someone like this. The fury of narcissistic rage may be released at the slightest provocation. Any challenge, insult, lack of respect, or defiance, whether real, trivial, or imagined, can send them flying into this rage, screaming, spewing horrible insults, belittling their target, dredging up sensitive or confidential information that was shared before, and throwing it in the person's face, acting out aggressively, or seeking revenge. The interesting thing is that people with this disorder are very critical and judgmental of others. They cannot accept people for whom they are. They see others only as the people they want them to be. Others are judged as being good or bad based on whether they flatter or agree with the narcissist. Those good and bad labels are never carved in stone. They can easily shift in the narcissist's eye. Narcissists are self-righteous gossips. They put everyone down, even their closest friends, by making snide or degrading comments, either to their face or behind their backs. And they enjoy turning people against each other. One of the most insidious forms of emotional and psychological abuse typically used by narcissists is the tactic known as gaslighting. Remember that term because it will come up a lot. Because narcissists are so subtle and sneaky with their cruelty, the person on the receiving end finds himself questioning his own reality. The narcissist is a pathological liar. They lie, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not, even about inconsequential or trivial matters. And they also believe their twisted realities. They try to convince the other person that his reality is the wrong one. This tactic makes the other person feel insane. And the narcissist will outright tell the other person that he is insane for believing whatever he believes to be true or not believing what the narcissist claims to be true. This is very confusing and crazy-making. The narcissist continually walks a fine line between fantasy and reality. He confuses imagination with true memories, or he forms false memories and then distorts things to make them fit into his fabricated, recreated world. Narcissists have a very selective memory. They'll say they don't remember something, deny it happened, or claim that the other person is just making it up. And they will argue obstinately that they are right. These people are very clever and diabolical. It is nearly impossible to pin them down or call them on their predatory behavior because they are deliberate about where and when they do things. There will never be witnesses to what they say and do to their victims. It is very difficult for victims to explain to others what happened because nobody ever sees it happening. To the outside world, the narcissist seems harmless and innocent. They wear a disguise in public and painstakingly cover their tracks. Everyone loves the facade the narcissist secretly hides behind, the only face they allow the public to see. They know this and will shamelessly tell those who are close to them how much everyone adores them. No one outside of their family circle will ever hear them say those things. They are very careful with the image they project to others. They truly believe that everyone loves them. They overestimate the effect they have on people. That is because narcissists find it difficult to identify with emotions and needs of others. Any reactions from others that are perceived as relevant to them are misread and misinterpreted. Though narcissists generally have a wide circle of acquaintances, they keep an emotional distance from everyone because they fear vulnerability. Anyone who attempts to get close to them will be rejected. A narcissist's true self really has nothing to give and therefore resents any demands put on him. He is a consummate actor, often worthy of an Academy Award. He's able to pick up on social cues and play whatever role is needed for him to fit in. He can turn his charm on and off like a light switch. The persona shown to the public is gracious, charming, helpful, generous, lighthearted, apparently sensitive to others' needs, and engaging. But it is only a mask. Narcissists know exactly how to fool others to get what they need. And what they need is a constant outpouring of praise, flattery, and adoration. They have an ever-dry well that must constantly be replenished. The wider their range of social connections, the more insurance they have that they will continue getting their supply. Their need for a constant influx of compliments and attention can be likened to a drug addict needing their drug. As long as they have their fix, they are satisfied. But it never lasts for long, and it is never enough. If there is something the narcissist wants or needs from someone, they will lure the other person into their sinister web, flatter him, flirt with him, and seduce him. They are adept manipulators. They make everything they do appear as if it is spontaneously occurring, but it never is. Everything is scripted in advance and premeditated. Narcissists are name droppers. They are highly impressed by those who have money, power, influence, or those who are their superiors. So eager to please these people, the narcissist will do anything to get them to recognize and like him. Impressive people are the only people the narcissist will bow down to and act slavish to. Narcissists are excellent at imitating people. They analyze others so they can intuit their emotions and reactions. Then they use this copied behavior to manipulate others and get what they want. They imitate emotions and behaviors that show caring and concern. They know what is proper to say and the proper way to react in any given situation, only because they see other people do it and recognize it as the appropriate thing to do. They can mimic empathetic behavior, but they never actually feel it. They are incapable of loving or caring for anyone else but themselves. Not only does the narcissist lack empathy, he is unwilling to recognize others' thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and needs, especially those that conflict with his own. With no interest in hearing the views or problems of others, he will tune them out or rudely cut them off. He rarely listens, supports, or validates anyone else's feelings. Narcissists treat others like objects, not people. To them, people are disposable and interchangeable. They are only useful if they give the narcissist what they want or need. They dislike anyone they cannot control or manipulate. Narcissists are very volatile, dramatic, and emotional people. They feed off of any kind of drama, whether good or bad, negative or positive. And if there isn't enough drama in their lives, they will create it. They lack emotional self-control and are prone to extreme, wild, violent mood swings. External events are always responsible for triggering these mood swings. As long as everything is going their way, they have everything they want, and no one is challenging them, they can be happy, loving, and fun. Their state of mind is always precarious. Those around them never know what's coming. That makes narcissist behavior very confusing to those who are close to them. 1 minute the narcissist is up, and the next minute they're down. They're pleasant 1 minute and then furious the next. Euphoric 1 minute and depressed the next. Feeling powerful 1 minute and helpless the next. Passive 1 minute and punching holes in the wall the next. But narcissists do not recognize their behavior to be irrational or unacceptable. With an insatiable need to maintain their pathological self-image or perfection, they see justification for all their reactions. It is always someone or someone else's fault. All right, well, we have run out of time, so that's all I can share with you today, but I am nowhere near close to finishing my discussion on this topic. Be sure to listen to the rest of this series. There are 5 more parts to gain a fuller understanding of the narcissistic personality disorder. Tomorrow, episode 2, I'll finish discussing the characteristics of narcissistic personality disorder, and then I'll begin a discussion on the dynamics of parent-child abuse and the portrait of the narcissistic personality disorder family. If you have any comments about today's show or any other shows, feel free to email me at afinetimeforhealing@randigfine.com. Randi is RANDIGFINE.com. Stop by my website, randigfine.com, and sign the guest book. I welcome feedback about my shows, so you can leave comments for me there as well. And please stop by to visit me on my Facebook page, Randi G. Fine, and like me. My page is filled with inspirational picture quotes that you can enjoy and share. If you enjoy listening to my shows, please become a show follower. More followers will get this show the recognition that it deserves. Visit my blog at randigfine.com for even more inspiration and join the list of devoted followers there. All my shows are archived after broadcasting and can be listened to at your convenience on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, or through the show links on my website. Thanks again for tuning in and listening to A Fine Time for Healing. This is talk radio show host and author Randi Fine, signing off until next time. May joy and serenity always be yours. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. You can find out more about Randi at her website, randigfine, randigfine.com. Join her next time for more of A Fine Time for Healing.
Hard not to hesitate, but we can't wait to be the change, be the change, be the change, be the change. There's a better way.